Welcome to Cost Saver Conversations. I'm Angela, and I ask the practical questions so you can quickly understand what matters. Today, I'm joined by Assad.
Hi, Angela. We are unpacking investment growth myths versus facts, what most people get wrong about long-term returns today, and tying it back to the wider cost-saver ecosystem, including tools like Investment Growth Planner, so you can turn insights into action quickly.
Just a heads up before we dive in, we are your synthetic hosts. We are great with numbers, but as AI, we can sometimes be confidently wrong. Think of us as the digital versions of your most knowledgeable, slightly caffeinated friends.
Exactly. Treat this chat as a smart estimate only, not as professional financial guidance. Always check important details with official sources or a qualified expert before making any big decisions.
All right, so investing. God, where do we even start with this one? I feel like every time I think I understand it, someone tells me something completely different.
Oh, tell me about it. I mean, honestly, the amount of just flat out wrong information floating around it's kind of staggering.
Right? Like my cousin, bless him, he's absolutely convinced the stock market is this magical money machine that just spits out 10% every year, guaranteed. He literally told me to just chuck it all in and wait.
Oh God, the famous 10%. Yeah, okay, so that's actually the perfect place to start because it's probably the most dangerous myth out there.
Is it though a myth? I mean, because I've heard it everywhere.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's not completely wrong, which almost makes it worse, you know? Like that figure comes from the S&P 500's historical average from 1926 to 2023. So there's this grain of truth.
Right.
But it's the nominal return, Angela, meaning before inflation. Once you factor that in, you're looking at more like 7%. And that's still before fees, before taxes.
Okay, wait. So 7, not 10?
In real terms, yeah. And here's where people really mess up their planning. If you're investing, say, £500 a month over 30 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
The difference between assuming 10% and 7% is it's about £400,000 in your final value.
400,000? Are you serious?
Dead serious. And that's assuming everything goes smoothly, which it never does. In 2008, the S&P lost 38.5% in 1 year. 1 year.
Jesus.
2022 wasn't much better, down about 18%. So this idea that it's just this steady climb is,
It's bollocks.
I was gonna say misleading, but yeah, basically. And then you've got fees eating away at it too. A 1% annual charge sounds like nothing, right?
I mean, 1% doesn't sound like much.
Over 30 years, that 1% can cost you tens of thousands, tens of thousands. So realistically, after inflation, after fees, you're probably looking at 5 or 6%, which is still good, but it's not 10.
God, that's actually quite sobering. So, when I'm doing my little spreadsheet fantasies about retirement,
Use 5%. Seriously, 5% keeps you honest.
right, okay. What about, those disclaimers? Past performance doesn't indicate future results or whatever.
The disclaimer everyone completely ignores.
That's the one.
Yeah, so people see a fund that did 15% last year and they're like, that's my winner. But it's basically gambling at that point.
Really?
Look, there was this woman, Sarah from Birmingham. 2020, she sees this tech fund with amazing 3-year returns, moves her entire pension into it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you can see where this is going. By the end of 2022, that fund was down over 30%. A boring, diversified global fund, only down about 15%. She lost 18,000 pounds chasing last year's winner.
18,000 pounds. That's, wow.
And this happens all the time. The evidence, like actual academic evidence, shows most active fund managers don't beat the market long term, especially after their fees.
So, what should we do then? Just pick randomly?
No, diversification. Spread it around. Different countries, different sectors. Boring, but it works. A steady, low-cost, diversified approach. Not sexy, but neither is losing 18 grand.
Fair point. Okay, compound interest. Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world?
Well, he might have. Nobody's actually sure he said that. But the maths is real. It's just people think it's magic, Like it works automatically.
It doesn't?
It needs three things: time, decent returns, and consistency. Miss any of those, and the whole thing kind of falls apart.
Time meaning start early, I'm guessing?
Exactly. Okay, so let me give you the numbers because this is actually mind-blowing. Someone who invests £200 a month from 25 to 65,
Right.
assuming that 5% real return we talked about, they end up with about $298,000.
Okay.
Someone who waits until 45 invests £400 a month, so double the amount, same total contribution over their lifetime.
Yeah?
Only 165,000. Not even close.
Wait, really? That's wild. The early bird gets, nearly twice as much?
Nearly twice, yeah. Time is the secret sauce. But here's where people mess up. They think any savings account will do this.
Oh, like my 1.5% high interest savings?
Exactly. If inflation's running at 3% and you're earning 1.5%, you're actually going backwards. You're losing money in real terms.
That's depressing.
I mean, if you've got 10 grand sitting there, you're losing about 150 pounds in purchasing power every year. It's just quietly evaporating.
Ugh. Okay, but what if you don't have 10 grand? What if you've got, like, not much?
Oh, this is my favorite myth to bust. People think you need thousands to start investing. Total rubbish.
Really?
You can literally start with £1 a month on some platforms. £1. Stocks and shares ISAs, fractional shares, the barriers are basically gone now.
A pound, though? Is that even worth it?
Okay, well, look, £25 a month is more realistic. But even that, over 40 years at 5%, grows to over £38,000
From 25 a month?
from £25 a month. The point is starting. People wait for this perfect moment when they feel ready, and it never comes.
I hadn't thought about it like that.
And honestly, someone investing $50 a month from 25 will probably end up wealthier than someone waiting until 40 to invest $200 a month. It's all about
Time in the market.
exactly, which brings us to timing the market, which is it's such a disaster.
Oh, God. I know people who do this. I'm waiting for the crash.
And then when it crashes, they're too scared to buy. It's like the best and worst days cluster together, right? Miss the 10 best days in a decade, and you can lose half your returns.
Half?
Half. There's this guy, Mark from Leeds. March 2020, pandemic hits, markets tank, he panics and sells everything.
Oh, no.
Converts to cash, waiting for the right time to get back in. By August, when he finally does, markets have mostly recovered. Cost him 12 grand in missed gains.
12,000 just from trying to be clever about it.
Exactly. Time in the market beats timing the market. Every single time. Just set up a regular monthly investment, pound cost averaging it's called, and let it run.
So basically, be boring about it.
Pretty much. But not too boring. You can't just set it up once and never look at it again for 30 years.
No?
I mean, your life changes, right? Getting married, having kids, new job. A 25-year-old can take way more risk than someone who's 55 and thinking about retirement.
So how often should you check it then?
Once a year, honestly. Just set a calendar reminder. Takes about 30 minutes to make sure everything still makes sense for where you are in life.
That's actually really manageable.
Right? It's not about constant tinkering. It's just don't completely abandon it either.
Okay, so let me see if I've got this. The real path to success is what exactly?
Keep costs low, first of all. Index funds charging 0.1 to 0.3% will beat active funds charging 1% almost every time, just from the fee difference alone.
Because fees compound against you.
Exactly. And diversify. A global index fund with thousands of companies means if one fails, you barely notice. Be consistent. Regular monthly investments beat trying to be clever about timing.
And use the ISA allowance, right? 20 grand a year?
God, yes. Tax-free gains and dividends. Over 30 years, that can be, tens of thousands in tax savings. It's huge.
So basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, forget the 10% fantasy, ignore last year's winners, Give compound interest time to actually work. Start now, even with small amounts. Don't try to time anything. And check in once a year?
That's basically it. The best strategy is the one you understand and stick to. Honestly, getting started takes about 15 minutes on most platforms now.
15 minutes?
If that, simple global index fund and a stocks and shares ISA. Start with 25 pounds a month if that's all you've got. Your future self will, well, they'll thank you for it.
You know what? This actually feels doable now. Like less scary somehow.
That's because we've stripped away all the nonsense. It's not magic, it's not gambling, it's just boring math that works.
Boring maths that works. I love it. Assad, this has been genuinely eye-opening.
Happy to help demystify it a bit.
Although I'm slightly terrified to check what my savings account is actually doing to my money now.
Yeah, maybe don't do that calculation right before bed.
Quick side note. This guide connects with other cost-saver blogs, especially cutting your energy bills this winter, home insulation and its return on investment, and energy bills for single occupants in London.
Exactly. And reading those together gives you a fuller picture of safety, energy costs, and long-term affordability before you choose a postcode.
And if you want to apply this immediately, jump into tools like Investment Growth Planner right after this episode.
Primary sources used here include NerdWallet, Average Stock Market Return, and secinvestor.gov. Past performance is not indicative of future results, so you can verify the data yourself and stay evidence-led.
That wraps this cost-saver conversation with Angela and Assad. If this helped, share it with someone house hunting so they make safer and smarter money decisions.
Your next step is simple. Try Investment Growth Planner, then read Cutting Your Energy Bills This Winter, and use both together before committing to a move.